Elements of fiction. Fiction is a form of writing in which an imaginary story is presented in a way that the story connects the readers to the characters as if they exist in reality. Since the story is not real, the author must be aware of certain elements that make a fiction as real as possible. So let's look at those elements. Subject matter. Subject matter is what articulates the theme of a story. It's a set of characters, actions, settings, and other properties. Subject matter serves the author's purpose or theme. Character. Characters are the representation of persons, and the persons can be characterized in expository and dramatic methods. When the author narrates about a character, either as an omniscient narrator or through another character, it is called expository characterization. When the readers have to judge the characters from their actions, personalities, attitudes, and relationships with each other, it can be understood as dramatic characterization. There are flat and round characters, which just means simple and complex characters, and it depends upon our ability to figure out the uniqueness of the characters if they are simple or complex. Furthermore, we can also recognize if a character is static or developing. A static character remains unchanged throughout the story, while a developing character keeps changing. Protagonist is a character with whom our emotions are chiefly involved, and the protagonist's actions are interrupted by an opposing character, which is known as an antagonist. A major character may reveal secrets to another character, known as confidant. A foil has qualities that are in contrast with the primary character. Some characters do not have their individual identities, apart from being known by their occupation, nationality, community, etc. They are called typical characters. Farmer, doctor, and soldier are some of the examples of a typical character. Point of view. Point of view is the position from which events are observed. If the narrator knows everything, the story is said to be an omniscient point of view. In this point of view, the narrator is usually different from the characters. If the narrator is one of the characters and has limited information about other characters, then the author is using limited point of view. Most of the time, the author uses a first-person narrator in this point of view. Action and plot. Action can be understood as the sequence of visible physical happenings that the characters undergo, and plot is the parallel sequence of changes in human relations resulted by events of the action. Conflict is the essence of both action and plot. The conflict may be between the protagonist and an antagonistic forces or within a character. In most of the older stories, the phases of the conflict are easier to notice. However, it's harder to clearly see the conflict and struggle in the modern fictions, since protagonists and antagonists are not always clearly distinguishable. Some stories are narrated in a completely chronological manner, but most of the stories are not found in chronological order. Flashback is used instead to shift a scene to an earlier time. Setting. Setting is where a story happens. Setting provides an appropriate atmosphere and reflects relationship in the action or plot. Atmosphere and tone. Atmosphere is the dominant emotion that is seen through the story. The descriptions of actions and events, and most significantly, the author's language produce the atmosphere. Tone is the attitude of the author towards the subject. Sometimes the author comments on the characters, while in some cases the author refrains from doing so. Language. Generally, we're not consciously alert to the language used in fiction. However, we care about the choice of words. If formal, informal, literal, and metaphorical words are used in the right place, readers will enjoy the story without being conscious about language. Allegory and symbolism. Allegory involves characters and events that represent abstract ideas and events. Symbols are the objects used to stand for another object with a particular meaning. Unlike allegory, a symbol doesn't tell a story. Theme. Theme of a story is what the author tries to convey through the work of fiction. You may understand it as the underlying message of a story. Arguably, every work of fiction has a theme.